Buenos dias, amigos, amigas from Ajijic here in the Lakeside area. Okay, I want to say since I've come to Mexico 4 years ago, and times when I was in expat locations, I still do it today. I love listening to expats over a cup of coffee or dinner or whatever we might be doing. There's a lot of good expats or also long-term expats in different parts of Mexico, and they all share their stories, and they are amazing. The travel that they've done, they've been here for years and in different parts of Mexico, and their stories are just amazing. But mine is not going to be that amazing, but it's still as good as some, and it's still similar to some. I've been only coming back and forth to Mexico for 4 years. I'm now a resident, and I'll tell you a little bit about why I chose Mexico and my road leading to travel and in the U.S., Canada, and Mexico that I used to do. Um, my father passed about 15 years ago. And just a couple weeks ago, I popped up on my phone, one of my phones. I showed a couple of subscribers, Dan and Sylvia, my father's obituary. And my father was a world traveler before he got married. He spent time in Spain. He wound up in different countries in the world and is well educated, traveled all over Europe. And he spoke a few languages and quite a few. And my father was a very accomplished man, educated and a very accomplished man. But I could never. If you take two hands, I'm probably this compared to my father. So in any case, I always wanted to travel. I used to listen to my dad talk about world travel when I was a kid and all through my life. And then I after he passed 15 years ago. Then my mother and my girlfriend passed in the same year. I mean, well, 8 years ago, 7 years later. My girlfriend passed of cancer. I lost her. Then I lost my mother shortly after, and I retired relatively young. I got a pension, and this was pre-Social Security age or pre-Social Security. I decided I want to travel, and I'm retired. I got some things to do. Living a pretty content life in the U.S. A lot of friends. I own a home. Buying a home, and got a nice community. A lot of things to do, etc. But it just I wanted to get out and do some traveling, and then I was traveling around Canada a little bit. I went up to, and being in the Detroit area, not far from the Windsor, and I used to travel a lot during to Windsor. I used to go back and forth to Windsor about 2, 3 times a week for a year. Then I decided I'm going to go up to Sable Beach in Ontario or up in Canada. I traveled through Ontario along Lake Huron there and drove up there. Beautiful towns like Godrich and all the other towns on Lake Huron. Went up in Sable Beach and then went to a resort, stayed there for 5 days, came back, and then I was doing some traveling in West Coast. I went to the West Coast for about a week, and I I was I'm retired, and I'm thinking I want to go do something. And then one day, um, there was a gust of wind. I'm from Michigan, mind you. Once again, uh, I live about a mile from Lake St. Clair, and a gust of wind just bit me on the face. I was on my porch, and I was turning the key, get in the house, and I got in the house, and I just said, no more of this. It's these winters, and the winters in Michigan are just too much. So I'm going to go. I called my friends, talked to family members. I'm going to keep the house, but I'm going to lease, live in Florida as a snowbird during the winter seasons and come back and forth. Then I thought to myself, man, I want something a little different for me because it also can get hot in Florida, pretty hot, and I'm not one for that kind of climate. So I did some research on Valencia, Spain. So Valencia, Spain, the climate there is pretty good. It's a little different, but pretty, not bad. It's not quite like it is here, but it was still a good climate. And I thought, yeah, maybe I love the culture. I've always loved all my life listened to Latin music too, and I just appealed to me so much, and the lifestyle over there, and I thought, well, man, I'm too like way too far from my family and relatives in case something happens and they need me or something or another, or I need to go back to the States. It's not going to be as easy. So um, I wound up talking to a friend of mine. He's a little younger than me, but I was friends with his mother, and I am, well, still friends with his mother. And I haven't talked to her for a while. I need to call her, but she was going to Cuernavaca. So, wow, man, that sounds pretty cool. So they invited me to go to Cuernavaca with them. And his mother was divorced after 40 years, 40 some years of marriage. So she wanted to go back to where she grew up. She came up to the States about 20 something, like when she was 20 years old or something. She lived up here for 40 plus years, and then she got divorced. She went back to Cuernavaca to help her 90 something year old mother and help her family. And although she was traveling back and forth, but I went with them for a week, and I hung around them quite a bit, and I was always, a lot of times I spent time with them, and I really loved Cuernavaca. Cuernavaca has a lot to offer, and a lot to offer, but it doesn't have English-speaking people as many, nowhere near as many as they used to have, like many, many years ago. There were Hollywood movie stars and people going there, but now there's not a lot of people that speak um, English there. And I had taken a Spanish course in college, and I did really well. But when I was in my 20s, but never practiced it after taking the course. Never. So I lost a lot of whatever Spanish I learned in my 20s. And mind you, I'm like still in my 50s or late 50s, and I thought, well, I'm going to go back there anyway. And I was going to go into Spanish immersion, but I got a book called The Lonely Planet. My friend who took me there the first time, see, and I wound up going back by myself, speaking and not remembering the Spanish I learned many years ago. And I decided, well, I need to be around some English speaking country that's got some more English speaking community. And I decided this after being the second time in Cuernavaca, I had a book called The Lonely Planet. And I was doing research in different countries, and I decided to go. I had 180-day visas at the time. I wasn't a resident. And I had a week there, back there again. And I said, okay, go to San Miguel de Allende. Didn't know anyone there. Hadn't known nobody there. Never been there. Didn't know a lot about it, but what I read in the book Lonely Planet, Lonely Planet version Mexico. And I went over there and I fell in love with San Miguel de Allende. I got there on a Friday. By Monday, I made the decision. I think over the weekend, I was making a decision. This is where I want to spend the rest of my snowbird season. Da, da, da. I found an apartment. It was San Miguel Realty. There's a Realty San Miguel or something like that. I went down, talked to a lady on Monday, a nice lady, and then she showed me some apartments. I chose one by Tuesday, the following day. I'm already talking to the landlord about leasing the apartment and went stayed there 6 months. Then I went back to the States. Mind you, I was on the 180-day visas at the time. Went back there for 6 months and then decided to, yeah, let me try. I was going to go, oh, I did go to Oaxaca City for 5 days. So I did consider going to Oaxaca City before Ajijic. I was going to go to Oaxaca City and San Miguel de Allende, not really thinking about Ajijic. Split some time up there. But then I wound up coming to Ajijic and stayed here for 6 months. Really loved it. Once again, like in San Miguel de Allende, I'm around a lot of expats. Oaxaca City had some, but nowhere near as many as San Miguel de Allende or this Lakeside area, Ajijic in the Lakeside area. But I was going to go back, but I chose to come here to Ajijic, and I once again snowbird 180 visas, came here, loved it, lived a few different places in the area, and wound up going back. And as soon as I got back, COVID hit. Yeah, I heard a little bit about it, but toward the end of my stay, but when I got back, I started seeing people get sick of COVID. And thank God I didn't get it. And the wiping of the switches, the countertops, everything with the sanitary, it was just like, wow, can't go out much, can't do some things, and wanted to get back to Mexico 6 months later, but because of different things that was going on with COVID, my family needed me. I had relatives up there, they needed me too, so I stayed up there, and 18 months. I stayed up there for 18 months, and then finally, but I was watching YouTube videos during the time. I want to let you know, I did shoot videos the first time I came to Ajijic, but they were only 1 minute videos, and they were never even considered to go up on YouTube or any kind of social media. I used to shoot 1 minute clips, or a little bit over a minute, and that's because I couldn't text them, send them through text. They would say they're too long, so I had to, any videos I was doing, share my experiences. I would make these videos for my family and my friends, but they wouldn't go up, so I had to do 1 minute ones. And but I got them, and archives are stored. But anyway, no intention of putting up any YouTubes. Didn't think about it, no anything whatsoever. But I still have them, and I do put them up once in a while. I used to last time I was in the Detroit area. But anyway, I came back here about 18 months later, did another snowbird season, and then I liked it, came back, snowbird back and forth, and then I started a YouTube channel. Actually started in the basement of my house, but then I started really doing uploading videos here in Mexico, the ones from Ajijic in September of, just a year ago, a little more than a year ago. So anyway, let me make this quicker. I love this place, and I was going around to, like, in between my Cuernavaca 7 days thing, I was going out over to Canada. I did a lot of traveling up through Canada, West Coast U.S., Myrtle Beach. But when I came to Mexico and really spent more time in Mexico, I really loved it and decided to stay and come back and forth. And now I'm a resident. Now, I'll tell you, I really love it here. Lakeside has a lot to offer, and other places in Mexico as well. Now, my Spanish has gotten better, and to the point now where I feel more comfortable to go to, even Cuernavaca, but Oaxaca City was a good choice too. Oaxaca City has some expats over there. There is a little bit of groups, but nothing like San Miguel de Allende or Ajijic. Well, anyway, I got back up here. I love it here. I want to tell you a little bit about over the past few years what Mexico has done for me. I really love it here. 5 years ago, before I started coming and traveling and living in Mexico, 4 years ago, a little more than 4 years ago, But 5 years ago, even before coming to Mexico, I was starting to look at weight loss. And I'll tell you, Lakeside has a lot to offer to have healthy, keep a healthy life, or get back to living a healthy life. I started getting obese a couple of years. I was always a thin guy, and a couple of years before I retired, I started gaining weight and putting on weight. And then eventually I got up 50 pounds heavier, and a good friend of mine 5 years ago got me on track. One of my other friends too, a good friend of mine, I uploaded videos with him before. He's a former NHL pro, 15 years. And he said, come on, man, I can help you. And he had me walking, and he used to go on his boat, on and off his boat, climbing off the dock, going on bike rides with him, doing a lot of things I did before I actually met him, but I really started picking up the pace. And I lost a few pounds doing things with him, going to picnics, throwing frisbees around, etc., getting more active again. And then I played some tennis. But I started getting more active. But then I found out, but coming here, I get to Mexico. When I first went to Cuernavaca, the first time and the second time, there's 2 7-day stays, different states. There were a lot of, it was getting pretty hilly for me. Maybe it seemed hillier than it was because I was 40 plus pounds than I am now. And so, yeah, in San Miguel de Allende, I'll tell you, they got the cobblestones over there, and it's pretty hilly. And there are some, it's not as easy walking, it's even a little easier here sometimes. But I did a lot of that, and through the course of coming back and forth to Mexico, and I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost, I think, probably I'm down to 40 pounds now. I'd say I went back up to the States just recently, a half a year ago. I put on 13 pounds. I lost 20 pounds here just in a matter of a few months. But last time I was here, but what happened was I had an ingrown toenail. It got infected. And I got medicine and got cleared up a little bit. Got infected again, and I couldn't walk as much. But I had a goal of like 30 pounds, and I'm going to get to that. I've been getting better the last couple weeks, although I haven't completely changed my eating habits back again, back to healthier ones that I developed, that I had developed. I have gained some weight back, and now I'm starting to lose some. Yes, I did have steaks the other day. I have stuff, but I have been making some changes in the last few weeks. So I'll tell you, this is a good place. People can be active. I was talking about things to do, making, and I made a video, and I talked about weight loss and the things I do. So like walking a lot. I've been doing, since I came to Mexico, doing a lot more walking. The colors make it so enjoyable. It's not like 5 shades of brown or gray all over the place. But it's more colorful here, and it's very enjoyable. Now, I'll tell you, I did want to go to Valencia, Spain. I was talking about that. I've always, loved the Latin culture and the Spanish culture. But I wound up coming to Mexico. I was thinking about other countries too, but in any case, being here and there's so many things to do, and I love it here. And I may move to another part of Mexico now that my Spanish is getting better. I have that option. It's gotten better. I really feel that I can go to the past places I've been now with more Spanish under my belt. But currently, I'm staying here. Who knows? I don't know exactly where I'll make my stake here in Mexico. But I love it here, and I did say I was going to put up some videos. There are many things to do. I do e-bike. I play tennis a few times, and I went to serve. I'll tell you more about that. I practice serves over at Parque de Cristiana. Even recently, I got a video. I was shooting hoops with Mexicans. And I'd done that before over with some kids over in the Ajijic mountain. And I do get active. I get in the pool, e-biking, and I do a few other things and walk, a lot of walking. And I'll share that with you guys. My weight has gone down in the last 4 or 5 years. And about a little more than 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, and Dr. told me, no way I'm loaded pain. Blood pressure's good again in my life. And now my weight loss has done a lot for me. I've lost a lot of weight over the last 4 to 5 years. And my doctor told me I didn't have to take metformin. My A1C level is in the fives. It's in the fives. So it's been in the fives also. Better blood pressure and A1C sugar levels over the last 4 years. So things are getting better again in my life. And health is important to me. Health. And I need to do more things. I'm physically challenged, but my health has improved. And I want to continue. And not only continue to try to maintain, or again, the health that I've worked at, changes in my life health-wise, but I want to even improve even more. I want to lose more weight and continue and do more things. I find out that as I do things, I can lose weight, and as I lose weight, I can do more things. So that works out again in my life. I was always a pretty active guy all my life until my 50s, and I started gaining weight. But trying to lose more of that. So I'm going to put up a video talking about some of the things people can do. Many of you might know, but for those who don't know, a video about what you can do in Lakeside. And I'll tell you, I love this country. And I want to settle on Spain because of the culture, the food, and the music, and the whole culture. But I came here and I found a lot of that here. There's a lot of that here. Whether it's in Cuernavaca, San Miguel de Allende, Oaxaca City, all the other cities or towns. Traveling more than the ones I mentioned. But I love Mexico, and this may be the place where I stay for the rest of my life. Of course, I'm still going to keep my home. That's what my plans are for the time being. But this is, hey, this is it for me. I love it here. Maybe I'll move to another part of Mexico. Who knows? Maybe wind up in Valencia, Spain. It just takes looking into it and researching and seeing what's going on there. Because right now I have relatives, and I would like to even go travel more or travel to other countries in Latin America, but I want to stay closer to my home and my family. Because those are relatives, because that's a responsibility I have still in my life. So with that, I'm going to close this video. It's rather long. I hope that some of you got something out of it. I'll be putting up video with different things you can do here in Lakeside and that I've done. And there's even more. I haven't done everything, but I've done quite a few things. I want to share that with you guys. So with that, tap on the notification bell and you'll be notified of upcoming videos. Thanks for viewing from Ajijic in the Lakeside area. Buenos dias.